Hey everyone, Iana Kone here. I thought I would give you a part 2 to the video lesson for Module 5. These are the problems I've emailed out earlier with the answers, but just with my notes here. So I'll go over some of them, but I think a lot of them you'll understand by reading them. So graphing, go up 1 over 2 for the graph. This one can be tricky. X plus y equals 5. It looks innocent, but it can be tricky. So I give you a strategy here. Make a table. Pick x when x equals 0. Plug that into the equation. X equals 0 is 1. You can always start from. So if you plug x equals 0 into there, y equals 5. Hopefully you see how that works out. When you plug x equals 5 in there, see, you get x, y is 0. And then now plot these 2 points, and you'll see that it's that one right there. I even give you instructions on how to graph those if you need them. So a good thing about this is, well, there's really 3 concepts here. To me, I think that sounds good, but graphing can be very tricky. So there's 3 things. Draw a graph of this equation. Some of you sometimes can just know the answer here. X is always 7. And this is what I mean by x is always 7. Just read that, and I think you'll get it. And I give you those 3 coordinates. Their x value is always 7, so that's why. And that's a tricky one, because what do you do with that? Well, hopefully this helps you. So let's look at the next one. There's quite a few questions on here. Find the slope passing these 2 points. Now you'll have 3 questions like this on your quizzes, and I hope you're okay with it. The good thing is it's always the exact same process. It's the same equation. You just have to become familiar with it. And if you want to think about slope from the word problem in class was about your raise. And they want to know the raise, how much raise you get each year. So these are just different points. I label the points every single time. I do the same thing. I write the formula with rise over run, even this business right here. Plug in everything. Boom, you get a -1. It means it goes downhill. Now watch out for all these negative signs. They're just trying to trick you. I've mentioned that a bunch. See, same problem, same but different numbers. Same exact method, label the points. Formula here with this business y2 minus y1, plug in the numbers. I know I'm going fast, but you can rewind, which is nice. Watch out for the negative signs. Boom, it's 0. If you're uncomfortable with that, just use a calculator on every single thing. I would use a calculator on all final calculations. Tell you this, the keystrokes, and it's 0. So same thing, look, the next number. I'm going to let you read this one, and we'll get undefined on this one, or error, and I can go into length about what that means, but here's the keystrokes. I bet you can make it through that problem. This is really the same problem, but starting at a different point. If you think about the word problem with the graph, the table, the equation, and then the word problem, here's the graph of the problem. So from the graph, it asks find the slope. So from the graph, hopefully you realize that, there's a table behind that graph. Look, I've chosen 2 points. There's a discussion. There's the points. I'm going to the exact same calculations as the previous problem, the exact same. So that's kind of nice because all the problems are related. If you can think about that word problem with what the $4,000 raise meant, and that you started with $69,000, I believe. That's starting salary. Same exact problem. Now you might know this problem is find the slope. It's number 8. You might know this is a 0 slope, but if you don't, same thing as the previous problem. Get coordinates from graph, label the points, put them in the formula, do the math, and we get a 0 slope. And the next one is, it's similar, but it's harder, honestly. So I gave you quite a few notes on this one because there's two methods. And here we're given this information. This M and B are these numbers, and hopefully, it's a trick. They want to make sure M is the slope and B is the y-intercept. Here's method 1. It works for some people. There's a method 2. Hopefully you realize that those letters go in this formula, and it's this business right here, and this makes the math the exact same as the previous problem. From here, you'd pick two values for x and you solve for y. Well, here you're just picking random ones. On the previous problem, you were picking from the graph, which in essence is the same thing. But still, I pick when x is 0. It's always, when you need to pick a point, pick x is 0, because look what it does in the equation, and you get y is -2. Now, the next, I picked a x value of 6 because I know the fraction will cancel out. And see, look at that. But I looked at the equation before, and I chose an x value, appropriately, whatever, smartly. So it would cancel that ugly fraction out, and I get y equals 2. So there's my next coordinates. So if you think about it, the last 4 problems, or 5 problem, have been pick 2 x values. There's the 2 x values. Put them in the equation or plot them on the graph and get your answer. So hopefully you can think in those, along those lines. So now I graph them because, well, you can. There's nothing else to do, and it wanted the graph. So there's the graph right there. Now, method 2 is a little bit different, and it's realizing that you start with the slope of 2/3 and the y-intercept of -2. From here, this is kind of thinking about the problem. It's not the equation, it's thinking about it, but it's still similar math. So you realize the point is that, well, we want to graph that point because we can. There's a point, might as well graph it. And then if you realize the slope is the next step, start at the slope. The slope is about going up and over. You count up to and over 3. You start from here, you count up to and over 3. And I really give the explanation right here. The slope is 2 over 3, 2 up and 3 over. Those words are always associated with the slope. Up and over is rise over run. Gave you a little graphic here. If you start here and you go up 2 and over 3, see over 3, you get that point, and over 3 to the right because it's positive. You get that point, you draw a line, and look, the two methods do give the same answer. This one's zoomed in a little bit on the graph. That makes a difference to you. So from here on out, well, it's a lot testing your definitions. So do you know your definitions? Find the equation of the line. Look, they give you this business, M and B. Hopefully you remember that's slope and y-intercept. Here's the formula, slope, y-intercept, plug the numbers in. There you go. Really the same question kind of in reverse. Find the equation. Look, there we go. Slope and y-intercept. Now this is the same exact question, just different numbers, more complicated numbers. Slope, y-intercept, there's the equation. You stick them in. There is the answer. Here's the equation in reverse. If this is the question in reverse. If this is the equation, what's the slope? There it is by that definition. There we go. And here is the same reverse question. If here is the formula, what's the y-intercept? And it's that number. There you go, 4. And here they want to know this type of slopes. If you know the answer is based on a definition, that definition, then that's a positive slope and you're done. But if you don't know that, here's method 2. And method 2 is the exact same method we've been doing. Pick 2 points from graph and calculate the slope. Exact, see, look at that, same markings, same formula. It's same idea, same exact idea on here. Either you know the definition, or then there's method 2, and you do the same thing we've been doing for a while now. Same exact question with find the slope. I think it's important to label the points first, rewrite the formula every single time so you know what you're filling in, plug in the numbers, boom, there's your answer. This is if you need help in plotting the point 0, -4. I've got some directions for you. And same thing in here, if you need help with naming the coordinates of this point here, got a little bit of help there. And then rearranging the equation. If you remember rearranging from last unit, subtract 5x on each side, go through the slope, go through the steps, and then identify your slope. There you go, and that's it. So I hope you had a good holiday, and hopefully you're doing well on your tests and whatnot. Looking forward to seeing you next class. Thanks a lot. Bye.